is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
In Philadelphia, no rain today, and that's a good thing. The Fish and the Phillies have split the first two of a three-gamer. Come on inside Citizens Bank Park with us. It'll be a lively bunch here. It's weather day. Lots of kids from around Philadelphia. The Marlins getting ready. The Fanatic is ready. And, of course, the baseball tradition, you got to steal the Fanatic's keys and hide them someplace. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Al Leiter. This has been a fun series for the Marlins and for the Phillies because you got two teams battling it out in the East. For the Marlins and the Phillies, it's the starting pitcher, right? You always have told me that. And for Tom Kohler, it looks like he's turned a corner.
Yeah, I think that's so, Rich. Rubber match, anytime you get 1-1, you want to win the series, especially against a surprising Philly team. And Tommy Kohler, listen, I love this guy. He's a bulldog. He gives you innings. He gives you starts. You look at his high ERA. His last two starts have been much better, as you said, Rich. And that inflated ERA really could go back to two starts where he threw some real clunkers. These two starts, he had 8 strikeouts against the Phillies. I like when he has the combination of the slider curveball. You saw it there. When he's on top of the curveball, and I think there's some deception there. He throws his glove arm at the hitter. It opens up a little bit, but you talk about attacking the zone. Yes, he can get a little bit wild with his command. I think that's any pitcher. When Tommy Kohler has that slider, curveball combination, and command of his fastball, I think he does a nice job. This right here got a little bit of trouble here, ending force play at second base. Tom Kohler is a consistent player when he's on.
All right, and here are the numbers. If you divide the first 5 starts with the last 2, Kohler has been outstanding. Now, Jeremy Hellickson goes for the Phils. Marlins saw him 2 starts ago, and they hit him pretty well. They got him for a couple of home runs.
You know, unlike last night, Vince Velasquez, the young pitcher for the Phillies, was awesome. 5 innings, 10 strikeouts, although the Marlin hitters did get the pitch count up. This guy is a control specialist. He throws average fastball with a lot of off-speed pitches.
All right, there you have it. Marlins and Phillies finish off a 3-gamer. Some day baseball, a chance to win the series. It's been fun so far. First pitch next. Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica by the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you, drive sober or get pulled over. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. In Philly, Marlins and Phils. Citizens Bank Park, lots of kids here. Yeah, when you steal the Fanatics' key, there all of a sudden it becomes CSI Citizens Bank Park. And Jose Fernandez apparently had the keys. See, there you go. Now, Philly's finest intervenes, and Jose apparently will not be available for his next start. He's listed as day-to-day. It's a baseball tradition, the Fanatic and the visiting team. All right, here's Miami's lineup. It's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. Derek Dietrich in the leadoff spot. JT Realmuto is up in the 2 spot. Martin Prado getting this day off. And a nice road trip for JT. Christian Yelich in left. Giancarlo Stanton trying to snap out of it in the cleanup spot. Marcell Ozuna and Justin Bour flip-flop in the order. Bour hitting 6th. Chris Johnson hits 7th. He's starting at 3rd. And Miguel Rojas gives Adeiny Echeverria a rest. He's in the 8th spot. And Jeremy Hellickson, the Marlins just saw him on the 7th of May. And the right-hander goes to work on this afternoon in Philly.
Yeah, Jeremy Hellickson, a 29-year-old. He's got a Rookie of the Year on his mantle, 2011 when he was with the Rays. Let's take a look at the scouting report. He is a strike thrower. I'll tell you what, this guy throws a lot of strikes. Of his 8 starts, 6 of them, he's either had 1 or 0 base on balls. He's going to pound the zone. Change-ups and curveballs. He doesn't have an exceptional fastball like the Marlin hitters saw last night in Velasquez. He's primarily fastball, change-up, curveball. Change-up being his #1 pitch, a 118 batting average against on that pitch. Watch for that today. And then long-distance operator real quick. When he gives up home runs, he loses. There's only 4 other National League pitchers that have given up more home runs than Hellickson's 9. Let's take a look at the defense that the Fighting Phils will have out there facing the Fish. Tyler Goodell in left field. Peter Borges playing center. David Lowe in right. Mikel Franco at 3rd base. Andres Blanco playing short. Cesar Hernandez at 2nd. And Ryan Howard make an appearance first start of this series. And Cameron Rupp is back behind the dish after hurting his ankle in a slide collision at home. And Jeremy Hellickson will be towing the hill.
Southwest Airlines bringing you the defense. Well done, partner. Here comes Derek Dietrich. And Jeremy Hellickson goes to work. Dietrich, Realmuto, Yelich in the 1st. And a fastball misses out. Mark Ripperger is calling balls and strikes. Country Joe West is at 1st. Andy Fletcher at 2nd. Toby Basner, the umpire, at 3rd base. And a nice crowd here on a Wednesday afternoon weather day in Philly. Dietrich sees that one sail out. Derek in the series is 1 for 6. He did walk a couple of times in the 1st game. His on-base percentage still quite high at .389. And there is strike 1. Marlins did get a couple of home runs against Hellickson. Justin Bour and Marcell Ozuna both went deep.
Yeah, a little bit of different heater here this afternoon against Hellickson. Nice pitcher when his command's on. His last start, he threw a gem, 7 innings. There it is right there with the 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts against the Reds.
3-1. Dietrich pops it up. Franco had room and may have lost it. His route wasn't the best. And Dietrich gets a reprieve. He's still in the at-bat to count 3-2.
A lot of foul territory here at Citizens Bank Park. Unusual for the new stadiums. As a pitcher, I like it. You get a lot of outs as a result of that foul territory. Good for Dietrich. He wasn't able to get it.
Yeah, they don't consult too many pitchers when they're designing the new ballparks. Here's a 3-2. And it's low and in, and Hellickson hesitated. That was tight. Dietrich on his way to first.
I said he was a strike thrower. First batter of the game, he walks. That ball is close. What does that Trax get it?
Ooh.
What's that showing there,
That's
Rich?
got the plate and a little bit of the knees, so that's borderline and a break for Dietrich.
Well, early on in the game, both sides, you kind of get a feel as to what the umpire is going to call. I know it's only 6 pitches into this, but Mark Rippinger, borderline pitch, called it a ball.
Here's JT Realmuto. Very good road trip. Nice series. Realmuto came in last night as a pinch hitter and doubled. So with this series, he's got 2 doubles, 2 walks, and he's 2 for 4. In the absence of D. Gordon, the Marlins have not run much at all. Dietrich not necessarily a stolen base guy. Don Mattingly's been going station to station, and it's worked for the most part for the Fish.
Cameron Rupp, the catcher for the Phillies today, exceptional arm. Good defensive catcher. Still question as to whether he's going to be a formidable enough hitter to play every day somewhere.
Hellickson very deliberate and not real quick to the plate. Realmuto pops it up, and this is Howard going after it. And Ryan Howard makes the catch. So an out for the Phillies. Howard's been on the bench the first 2 nights of this series. And here's Yelich.
Howard relegated to platooning with the 2 left-handers, Conley and Chen, that the Marlins threw at the Phillies, and he didn't play.
Well, I would think if you took a straw poll amongst Philly fans, they would like to see more of Tommy Joseph. His last 2 nights have been very good at the plate.
Yeah, he looked really good last night.
Joseph, a catcher that the Phillies are trying to get some at bats for, and he's sparkled in his first few days in the big leagues. 3 hits and a home run last night. Hellickson a peek over to Dietrich. Hope you had a chance to watch Marlins live before the ball game. Al Leiter, he carved up the telestrator talking about shifts. And when you got to Christian Yelich, he's almost unshiftable.
Well, check this out right here. I love it. In the land of shifting, this is about as straight up as you can get for a major league hitter. And that's a huge compliment to Christian Yelich of his ability to hit the ball where it's pitched and use the whole field. And Rich, I think we're going to see more of it because there's some debate. You know, is there too much shifting going on? I know Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, said, I'd like to see it outlawed or, not allowed. They went from 2010 about 2,500 shifts in baseball to over 15,000 last year. And a shift, for those of you listening, it's having an extra infielder on one side or the other of second base.
And oftentimes it's taking the remaining infielder, whether it's third or first, and moving that infielder towards the middle of the field. You can do it more at third, obviously, than at first. And there's Yelich, and 19 to center. He will pull the ball into right field if you try to go down and in on him. Counts 2-2. Yelich bangs that one in the gap, left center. After it is Burgess. He won't get it. It's off the wall. Dietrich racing for third. To third, coming home. Relay throw at the plate, and Dietrich is safe. A slide. Rupp, who was in that collision this weekend, never got the ball. The Marlins last night were not aggressive in the first inning. Dietrich was held on the Prado double. But Lenny Harris today says, come on in. And it's a 1-0 lead.
Well, he set it up nicely. I'll tell you what, this is well struck, showing the ball where it's thrown and where he hits it. Splits the upright and left center field. See Peter Bourjos getting that ball in, and as you said, Lenny Harris waving in Dietrich last night, was not able to score. Good aggressive running by the Marlins. You see the ball just up a little bit toward the first base line, and Rupp not able to hold it. There's Lenny.
Was I seeing something there? Down the right field line. If you're at home and you were as confused as I was, that replay was reversed. That overhead replay we just showed, he slid in from first. For whatever reason, that camera is just not working. Here's Stanton. It's a mirror effect. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not have the technical ability. All I know is when I watched the replay and Dietrich slid in from first, I was very confused.
And I'm playing along. I'm like, how did he get on that side?
I don't know. Here's the 1-1 coming to Stanton. It's a big at bat for the Fish. Early on, Stanton fouls it off. Giancarlo Stanton has really struggled at the plate. And in situations like this, where he just needs contact, sometimes in this valley that he's in, that's been a challenge as well. He's 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. The infield is back and shifted. And he got him. And so Stanton strikes out, and here comes Ozuna.
Yeah, Stanton just doesn't look comfortable right now. A changeup, you don't often see that, and that is Jeremy Hellickson's MO. Right-hander, left-hander, doesn't matter. Left-handed batter, right-handed batter. Stanton in his last 11 games, a 108 batting average, 16 strikeouts and only 1 RBI.
Now Ozuna, if the Marlins are going to cash in on this second run with 2 outs, and Hellickson misses in. Ozuna homered against him on the 7th of May down in Miami, and it was a matchup between Hellickson and Kohler, and neither figured in the decision. Miami built a 3-1 lead, and the bullpen let that lead get away in the 8th. Ozuna had a solo homer and an RBI single against Hellickson, and the count is 2-0. On a night where the Marlins struck out 17 times last night, tying a club record for a 9-inning game, and scored just 1 run, Ozuna had the at-bat of the night. And it didn't result in a hit. It was an 11-pitch walk. And for Ozuna, it just further illustrates the discipline that he's starting to develop. He's not all the way there, but in bits and pieces you can see him starting to put it together. Does he get that same changeup that Stanton got?
He just got one there. Let's see if the Hellickson doubles up on that changeup. Yes.
So a righty on righty change at 82 miles an hour. An opportunity for the Fish to get another run here in the first. And once again, a Phillies starter, much like Vince Velasquez last night, is into his 20s as far as pitch count in this first inning.
Coming in, fastball in.
Ozuna rips it left field line, and that ball's in the corner. Yelich will score. Ozuna around first, and he's got an RBI double. Last night we talked about bat speed and Ozuna's hands and how difficult it is to throw an inside fastball by him.
Boy, this is nice hitting here after 2 changeups. Hellickson shook off Rupp twice. Rupp, the catcher, wanted to go fastball away, then he went changeup. Hellickson wanted to go in. Looked like a good located fastball, but just again, unlike the additional velocity that the Marlin hitters saw last night, Velasquez at 90 miles an hour, and you said it, Rich, he's got exceptional bat speed. You got to have a plus fastball to get it by him, Ozuna inside.
Here now is Bohr. He's the other Marlin that homered against Hellickson. down in Miami. Ozuna's at second. You got a couple of doubles, Yelich and Ozuna. And remember, a leadoff walk to Dietrich started the inning. And this was Bohr's home run against Hellickson. And look where this one went out.
Right. I love it when I see guys that go the other way. He's got tremendous strength. I mean, we saw the home run here in the first night, just a little bit left of the 409 in left center field. And short, quick. I know he could maybe pull off a little bit, and he gets a little pull conscious. But wow, when he makes contact, there's not much of a finish. It's just a compact, explosive swing.
Let's see what he gets 2-0. Miami winning on Monday night. Phillies answered last night. Breaking ball hit hard into the shift, and Hernandez gets the out, but Miami's on the board twice. A pair of 2-strike doubles. Yelich and Ozuna. Ozuna have provided the Fish with a 2-0 lead. Here come the fighting Phils. The lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. David Lowe is in right. No Odubel Herrera in there today. Cesar Hernandez at second. Andres Blanco at short. Ryan Howard does get a start. Great numbers in his career against the Fish. Mikhail Franco at third base. Cameron Rupp, as Al pointed out, banged up in the collision, his first start since. Tyler Goodell has had a good series with the bat. The pitchers in the 8 spot, Jeremy Hellickson and Peter Borges is in the 9 spot. Here's Tom Kohler taking the ball.
Yeah, Tom Kohler will be making his 8th start. This will be his 5th on the road. You see his numbers. Let's take a look at the scouting report by Tommy Kohler. 4 pitches. He's mostly fastball, knuckle curve, slider, change, control, command, consistency are the 3 C's. And that's pretty simple when you really talk about most pitchers. Tom Kohler averages right around 91 miles an hour. He's not going to really blow by guys. And then Bulldog. I mean, I love his look and his approach, Rich. It's just, he gets a little careless. And, you know, to mention command and control, his last start, even though he only gave up the 1 run against the Nationals, got into the 6th inning, he did have 5 walks, which you're always flirting with danger when you create an offense for the opposing lineup.
That's a letter-high strike to David Lowe. Cesar Hernandez, Andres Blanco for the Phils. So Pete McCann resting a few regulars. No Odubel Herrera. Freddie Galvis getting the day off as well. And Kohler misses by a bunch there, and it's 3-1. There is Galvis. Not only a day off, a chance to let his hair not down but up flow.
It's like Chris Archer. You seen Chris Archer, the pitcher with Tampa Bay?
Yes, that's Archer Jr. there.
Who's the singer? Oh God, now I just threw it out there. The cool singer. Oh gosh.
The cool. Well, there's
lots of.
There's a. Let me Google that.
Narrows it down.
Let me Google that, and I'll see what I come up with. All right, defense now. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Al, you're on the clock with the defense.
Oh, look at this. Christian Yelich. We got Marcell Ozuna, Mr. Stanton in right. Chris Johnson playing a little third base. Miguel Rojas, Derek Dietrich, Justin Bohr, and JT Realmuto, and Tommy Kohler on the mound. All right, Martin Prado getting a day off, as you said.
Here is Cesar Hernandez, which hitting second baseman. Kohler trying to dial in the strike zone, and he gets a strike. I did Google it, and Bruno Mars is all I came up with.
Lenny Kravitz. Thank you.
There you go.
T-Mac. I know you're never supposed to do that, right? Just throw out, hey, who's that guy?
Well, a little more specific.
Lenny Kravitz.
There
right?
you go.
Fair enough.
Very nice.
All right.
Good. That's a good comp. On if you're on BaseballReference.com and you are looking for cool singer, the comp would probably be there. But I think Bruno Mars would be in that comp list as well.
Would, but Lenny Kravitz just was stuck. There you go. Look at that.
Well, Kohler right now with a count 1-1. Lowe is running on the pitch, taken. And Realmuto's throw, and it's dropped, picked up, out at second base. Boy, a lot of moving parts there. From the throw by Realmuto, Rojas had to reach and then lunge. He didn't quite have it. Pete Mackanin with that stopwatch in his right hand. The Phillies are going to look at this. Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire, was right on top of the play.
David Lowe got a good jump. Boy, just so impressed. You see him got off the base. There was not a whole lot of disagreement with David Lowe.
Well, he's off the base. Great job by Rojas to find the glove, or find the ball in the glove. The question is, did he get him during the swim move?
There was a lot going on here.
I mean, look. They are not going to challenge, and I think the Phillies. Oh, there it is. Looks like it hit his hand. It looks like he tagged the right hand. I don't think you can challenge and find definitive proof that to overturn the call,
because they wouldn't know which arm to look at. Left, right.
And I'll bet you this: if he had called him safe, I don't think the Marlins would challenge either.
Yeah, first inning. You got to be sure first in a game like this, right? You don't want to burn your one challenge.
Without question, because then you don't have a challenge. Umpires obviously can do it once you get to the 7th. Meanwhile, Kohler walks Hernandez now. And so Tom Kohler has opened the first with a pair of walks.
Rich, take a look at his throw. I know JT Realmuto was not a catcher, but the arm strength on this throw and the quickness. I don't know too many major league catchers throw it harder. I know his pop time is his tops.
That's his calling card. Average pop time, which is pop of his glove to the pop of the glove at second, was the best in Major League Baseball last year. And is a former shortstop in high school. Throwing has been one of his strengths behind the plate. Here's Andres Blanco, and with Kohler behind 1-0, Juan Nieves either sees something or wants to hear something from Kohler here.
That's not good. Resulting in 2 walks, and now here 1-0 against Andres Blanco. You know, I always thought this, Rich, and I was one of those guys for years, actually. The first inning was always, one, your jitters, you want to do well, you're nervous, you got your high energy. To just get through the first inning, just to throw up a 0. I don't care if it's 3 hard outs. Just to get in the dugout and towel off and, you know, kind of get in the rhythm of what you're trying to do. That was a good pitch there. Wow. Mark Rippinger, home plate umpire. Oh, I was wrong.
It's all right.
But then again, I begged.
If you're around the plate a little more first two hitters, you might get that call. That one fouled at the plate.
That's true.
And the count is 2-1.
Although less now with the system that's in place.
Yes, I would agree. And that's by design.
Yeah, there's no favoritism.
No. As an umpire told us a couple years ago, we did a special on the strike zone. It's not about consistency, because you don't want to be consistently wrong. It's about accuracy. And with accuracy, then you get consistency. Bohr on the bag to second in time. How about that?
Wow.
That'll get you in the dugout to towel off. Justin Bohr, Miguel Rojas, nicely done. Showdown is presented by La Lechonera. Well, Citizens Bank Park has not been a great place for the Marlins lately. Over the last few years, the Phillies have played well against the Fish, but the Marlins have a chance to win a series, and they are up 2-0 in the second. Here's Chris Johnson. He takes a fastball down low. Johnson, Miguel Rojas, Tom Kohler, bottom third against Hellickson. Johnson walked last night in a pinch hitting appearance, ended up staying in the ball game. Hellickson's 2-0. And of course, for the Marlins and the Phillies, last night, I'm sure a few, and obviously it's mid-May, but a few probably peeked to see what the Mets and the Nationals were up to. Noah Syndergaard, that one is cracked to left, and it's going to go to the wall. Let's see if Johnson can stretch it for two. Nope. Nicely played and left by Goodell, and Chris Johnson, in this small confines here in Philly, settles for a single.
Nice swing there last night. You mentioned his walk in the ninth inning. The Marlins made it interesting in a 3-1 loss, and he saw all sliders. Hellickson in a 2-1 count there after a changeup. Nice swing, good approach. Good thing he didn't go to second base. That was a nice carom that Tyler Goodell made. A perfect strike to second base.
And here is Miguel Rojas. Noah Syndergaard outdueled Max Scherzer, and the Mets shut out the Nationals last night 2-0. And so 4 teams within 2 games In the East, Nationals on top. Mets and Phillies are a half game back, and the Marlins are 2 back. That started play today. Hellickson gets a strike. Hellickson, of course, with the Rays. Drafted in the 4th round. Rookie of the year when he finally got to the big leagues. Drafted in 05. And some time in the minors, a lot of time in the minors. With the Rookie of the Year in 2011 in the American League. Rojas turns on one. He would add a Gold Glove to his resume, winning that in 2012.
Well, he did. He was a formidable pitcher, I'll tell you, with the Rays. 5 years he spent there. Last year went to Arizona. Had an elbow surgery, loose chips removed in 2014. You mentioned Hellickson with the Rookie of the Year in 2011. Guy will give you innings, throw strikes. Not exceptional stuff, but when he's ahead, he's tough to hit. You saw the curveball there and the changeup. That combination of his curve changeup, but where he gets burned, and we saw it on Chris Johnson in that fastball count. At 90 miles an hour, you got to be precise. You got to hit corners, keep the ball down.
Marlins beat Jared Eichhoff on Monday night. Last night, Vince Velasquez punched out 10, and he ended up with the win, even though he went just 5 innings. Rojas fouls it back. Marlins saw Aaron Nola in the last series. They won't see him here. Nola gets the start on Friday for a weekend series with the Phils. Phils have got Atlanta coming in. Just missed.
I like that graphic that we just put up. A speed variation for a guy that doesn't throw very hard. Watch this right here. This is that changeup that fading down and in just off the plate a little bit. Good call. 16-mile-an-hour speed differential. And often you see guys with exceptional stuff. That's really good variation of speeds, and he needs to do that. 92, slightly above at Major League average.
Tap to short, out there, and just out there. Nice turn by Hernandez. The feed by Blanco. And the Phillies get a double play.
Yeah, and I think that was a perfect example of that pitch, Rich, of what Hellickson does to frustrate Major League hitters. This is a changeup that just floats there. And guys, it's tough for them to stay back. When they have the variation of a 92-mile-an-hour fastball and a slow pitch at 76, which is his curveball, that's what it's all about. I mean, Greg Maddux used to say that. Pitching is to command a fastball and change speeds. And those that do it better and more consistent are your better pitchers.
Tom Kohler now. And Kohler takes a strike. So the Mets beat the Nationals last night. They're back at it tonight. Marlins and Phillies end their series today. Check swing. Kohler went around. So a better inning for Hellickson in the second, with Miami on top 2-0.
Tom Kohler is on the mound for the Marlins. He may have struggled a few weeks ago in Milwaukee, but since then he's only allowed 2 earned runs. Here is Juan Nieves on what he has seen from Kohler since that start.
I think the game in Milwaukee, I thought he was pushing the issue with his 4th best pitch, and he even brought it up, the fact of using a slider early in the game, and not establishing his breaking ball, which is his curveball, his changeup, and they took advantage of that, and he was never able to get the curveball involved and his fastball involved in the game, and we talked about sequences, and I think that's been beneficial for him.
And guys, this is Kohler's 2nd start against the Phillies in 12 days. In his last outing, he made it through 5+ innings of work and only allowed 1 run.
All right, thank you, Jess. And Tom Kohler walked a pair, but was helped by his defense. The caught stealing, David Lowe, the leadoff man, and then Justin Bour turning a nice double play. Here is Ryan Howard, and if you're into shifts, the Marlins have a good one on right now for Howard. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So this is common right here. Short right field for your second baseman. You have your shortstop. Actually, your third baseman on the second base side.
Yeah, Chris Johnson is moved over. The Marlins like to keep their shortstop in the shortstop spot, and there are teams that do this and take a third baseman and put him as the rover, so to speak. Bouncer, shallow right, and Dietrich throws him out.
Throws him out from right field. That's got to hurt a guy like Ryan Howard. I mean, you talk about numbers. Ryan Howard, over his last 14 games, Rich, he's 4 for 39. However, of those 4 hits, 3 dingers.
That's right. But look, the overall question is this. Major league hitters are incredibly skilled. Some have been able to adjust and go against the shift. Some have not. Some have stayed with what they do, and that's what they do. Where's the line? I mean, at what point is it a hitter's responsibility to change? Or do you lean towards the camp that says, hey, let's curtail shifting and make it illegal, so to speak?
You know what? There's some talk about that, and I think the only reason why you would consider that is that you want more offense. But even that, you know, there's some question as to whether, you know, Babbitt at balls.
Right. Not Shooty Babbitt.
Right.
The former second
batting
baseman.
average at balls in play. It has gone up. Or basically it's been flat, shall I say, since the shift. Showing a little some aberration with some teams with it being lower. I'm not in favor. I think you could equate it to the illegal defense in basketball, right? You have that as a rule. I think you're going to see more minor league hitters to be able to hit the ball where it's thrown.
Well, that's where it starts, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I've spoken to a lot of hitters, and I don't understand, as well as major league hitting coaches, if you see the extreme shift, why not your first at bat? I know you can hit 30 home runs a year, but why not just push a bunt or slap the ball the other way?
Little chopper. This is going to be a tough play. Johnson bare hands and outs. Bang, bang. Joe West with the call. It'll be reviewed.
Well, immediate reaction from Maikel Franco and Mickey Morandini. They pointed to the Philly dugout. Nice play, all in one motion. Chris Johnson. Yeah, couldn't tell there.
Now remember, it's back of glove for the ball.
Yeah, I think he's safe.
That's a blur, but he did look safe. Maybe a better look here. And the Phillies are going to review it. Remember, they did not choose to challenge that wild scramble at second base by David Lowe when he overslid the bag and Rojas didn't have the ball. This one is pretty cut and dry. It's a play at first. Here's the super slow-mo. This should give us a definitive look Ooh. It's even closer there in super slow-mo. He's safe. So, you know, in watching him, he kind of stutter-stepped and then stepped on top of the base.
He was. It looked like the last 8 feet or so, he kind of tried to get his footwork so that he landed on the bag properly, and in doing so, he made it closer.
Watch the little stutter step.
Right there.
And he actually steps on the very top of the base.
That step right there, he got out of his gate. Wow. Well, that was quick. You know, some of these instant replays have taken a couple minutes. That you don't mind, because I know that there's a concern from the commissioner's office trying to speed up the game. I read a recent article on that. I don't know if you read it. He's a little concerned.
35 seconds.
That was 35 seconds. Yeah, now that's something.
Well, there's only one other game going on right now, so I would expect that the umpiring crew or the guys that are in Chelsea.
Are there other games?
Just one other game.
One other
right
game.
now.
So
no, there's Boston and Kansas City start here.
So they're all watching this closely?
Yeah, or Minnesota, Detroit.
Well, it's just a crew, right? Is it a crew or one guy?
Well, there are 2 crews, 2 umpiring crews that rotate through.
No, but right now in Chelsea, in the war room,
there's probably more than one umpire in the room. My guess is there's an umpire on each game. And a swing and a miss by Cameron Rupp. And so a strikeout for Kohler, and that's a good sign. Kohler walked a pair in the first. And here is Tyler Goodell. Phillies are one of the surprise stories, certainly in Major League Baseball this year. A team that had the worst record in the game last year, nearly lost 100 games, a last place finish, and a major rebuild job over the last 2 seasons. Liner into center field, and Ozuna plays it on a hop. And yet here are the Phils, who are just a half game out in the East. And obviously it's mid-May, but still, I don't think anybody saw this coming, that many felt the Phillies and the Braves would be in the basement. That has proved true for Atlanta, but not for the Phillies.
I think it's the baseball story for at least the National League. I think you could pin the Chicago White Sox as a surprise turnaround. But when you lose 99 games and you tell your fan base that it's going to be a 2 or 3 year rebuild, and here they are mid-May, a half a game out, 6 games over 500. This has been a heck of a story.
And you can feel, just being in this city for 3 days, that's appreciated. The fans are a little more energized than they were last year. Now remember, Pete Mackanin has his pitcher in the 8th spot. Here's Hellickson with 2 outs and runners first and second. That's a healthy rip. He does have a couple hits this year. And it's been built, this Phillies resurgence, on the starting pitching. We talked about Velasquez and Nola.
Their bullpen, the one-run games.
Neris has been terrific. Genmark Gomez is their closer. Pitch misses out. And 1-run success in close ball games. The Phillies have been unbelievable this year. 14-3 in 1-runs and 4-0 in extra innings. 2-2 coming. And a breaking ball misses up. Counts full now, 3-2.
Yeah, that hanging curveball, it hits the top part of the strike zone, but very few umpires like to call that. It just, I think visually from the side, it looks high. from the Fox tracks, it looked like it got the top part of the strike zone.
Runners on the move. 3-2, and it's fouled off.
Well, when Pete Mackanin moved the pitcher to the 8th spot, it was really in conjunction when he brought Odubel Herrera as his leadoff hitter. And Herrera's not in there today, but boy, he's a heck of a igniter for any lineup. Terrific on base percentage, tops in the league, or second to Bryce Harper.
Borges is on deck. He has leadoff hitter type speed, but not leadoff hitter type skills at the plate. 3-2. Kohler pumping in another fastball. Hellickson making him work.
And I don't know if really that's Pete Mackanin, the manager of the Phillies, premise behind it. I'm hearing more it's become a little superstitious, but he's got guys that can handle the bat. Jared Eichhoff, who started this series, 231 batting average. Last night, Vince Velasquez, 286. And from the looks of Hellickson here, you got a guy batting close to 200 as a pitcher. That's pretty good.
Yes. Wow. And Kohler walks him.
Yeah, that's a big faux pas there. You go after the pitcher. Tough at bat there. Was it 8-pitch at bat?
So here now is Borges. Borges has yet to really get going this year with the bat. 1 for 5 with an RBI. No swing, says Joe West. And it's 1-0. Borges in the air, left center. Yelich squares it up and makes the catch. And Kohler escapes and leaves the bags loaded in the second. Behind the plate after a Saturday collision. Derek Dietrich is about to lead off. Let's go back to Saturday. Eugenio Suarez is the runner for the Reds. Now this is 2 outs, 9th inning, a 1-run lead. Rupp makes the catch. There's the collision. It was challenged by the Reds, and it was ruled he was not blocking the plate. He had to go up the line and into the path to make the catch. And this was Dietrich in the first inning.
Well, you said it. The catcher has to have the ability to be able to field the baseball. And both of those throws that Rupp had to get was up the line in the base running line, and that's where it becomes very dicey. You saw Suarez, you know, I think a lot of the runners there's an uncertainty. I know I'm not allowed to bowl them over. Where's the lane? If I have a lane, do I have a lane? There's a little trepidation, I believe, more on the runners than the catchers being afraid to be in the line.
Without question, and I chatted with Pete McCann a couple nights ago, and he said the very same thing, that the confusion is mostly with runners. I will say this, though, for Dietrich, he has no confusion, because in the series down in Miami, there was a play at the plate in which Carlos Ruiz tried to block the plate with the ball, and Dietrich not only slid towards him, but pulled from his slide into not a sort of a block, and it was a pretty violent collision. Ruiz held onto the ball. Dietrich was out, and they both looked at each other like, yep, that's the way it should be. And there were no arguments. That no one thought that he was blocking the plate. Ruiz had the ball when he went into the lane, and Dietrich did the right thing. The most important thing for a runner, from interpreting the rules and talking to managers and coaches, is that you slide. Because if the catcher is blocking the lane and you don't slide and you pull up, you will not get that call.
Well, I think, in my opinion, the spirit of the rule was to really not have guys hunting catchers. That was, to me, really the premise behind ultimately what the rule was put in place for, right? I mean, Buster Posey, really, it's now the Buster Posey rule, I guess, if you would, and just like the second base is the Utley rule.
3-1 to Dietrich. Takes a high fastball and hits it in the air to left.
I mean, I always thought that, Rich, you know, over the years, and, you know, I had to catcher Mike Piazza with the Mets. You know, he was not afraid to get in the line, and I don't know whether it was years with the Dodgers and Mike Scioscia being around, but he got trucked a lot, and it was sometimes, you know, off the line and guys just hunting catchers. That's, to me, dirty.
Well,
it's not hard baseball. You still want these guys to play hard.
And I think, you know, it was an extreme, obviously, when they started the rule. It was adjusted because mainly of a play that the Marlins and the Reds were involved with Jeff Mathis and Zach Cozart, which cost the Marlins a game. And so I think that they're starting to find that middle ground. And we've seen collisions, the ones we just showed you, and then the Dietrich-Ruiz collision. We've started to see contact at the plate, and I think everybody is okay with it and has started to figure out what you can and can't do.
And I also think that what will be modified with the new rule at second base as to, you know, how that gets interpreted or loosened as far as the interpretation of the rule.
Real Muto takes down low. Jeremy Hellickson walked Dietrich back in the first, and the Marlins promptly got 2 runs. Christian Yelich an RBI double and a 2-out double by Marcell Ozuna. A double play ball helped Hellickson through the second, and he's 2-1 on Miami's catcher. There's that righty on righty changeup.
Just, you know, and it looks, I think it has a little bit of a slider spin to it, but what makes Hellickson's changeup so good is that his arm speed is exactly like his fastball, and that's what hitters pick up. They see the little window, the release point, and now here comes a pitch 8 to 10 miles an hour slower. It looks like his fastball.
Blanco gets the out.
You know, so far, just watching what Hellickson's doing now, it's kind of settling down, is that I got to believe, if you're, see the little tumble, this had better action. It had more of a down and in, see the side-to-side spin. But at 80 miles an hour, you know, they're still respecting enough. You don't have to totally respect his fastball at 90, but he's starting to really settle with his off speed, and it's mostly that changeup. You're going to see these Marlin hitters second time around, third time around, start staying back a little bit longer.
Yelich doubled off the wall in left center. How about the series Yelich is having? He's 5 for 10. And his 5 hits, he's got 3 doubles and a triple in this series. And as you clearly documented and artfully drew, he's almost unshiftable.
You know, he's a special player, and I know Marlin fans know that watching him day in, day out. But when you have a hitter that's now over 320 and use the whole field, which is what I really enjoy watching him hit because of that.
The power has started to come for Yelich. 5 homers, including one of the longest in all of baseball. That was against Velasquez down in Miami, 463 feet. Good hands by Hellickson, and that's the Gold Glove form from the Phillies right-hander. 2-0 Miami in Philly. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. And you can read that on your phone. You can go to the disclaimer app at the App Store and download the Major League Baseball disclaimer. All right. Tom Kohler's first pitch is hit by David Lowe, foul. You dissected the last 2 starts for Kohler earlier, and he was very good in both of those. In fact, one of those, his last time out, his last time out against the Phillies, maybe his best start of the year. What's different about this start from those 2 starts so far?
I think listening to Jessica interview Juan Nieves about when pitchers get in a funk, you kind of lose sight as to what your strengths are. And just, you know, reading the tea leaves of what Juan Nieves was saying was that, you know, he kind of lost what his out pitch was. And what Nieves says was, you know, use your fastball. You still have to use your fastball. Watching Hellickson throwing 90, Kohler's hit at 94 I've seen here. So you got to establish command of a fastball. And that pitch right there.
Oh, under the glove and through the legs of Bohr, and Lowe is on with an error by Justin Bohr.
Yeah, it's just a worm burner on the curveball. But that is the pitch that I'm seeing that Tom Kohler, when he uses it effectively early for strikes and then also put away. Watch here, right here, Justin Bohr. Let's see if it just stays down on him. That's a play that he absolutely should have. You see him come off a little bit to the side. Interesting, instead of just staying middle and right between the wickets.
I don't know whether he didn't get a good look off the bat. These day games are a little squirrely with the ball off the bat.
There's a bunt by Hernandez. Kohler, bare hands, fires to first. That's not in time. Didn't get him. Cesar Hernandez trying to bunt. Marlins obviously will take a peek at it. Kohler made an accurate throw, and here's our first look.
Wow, that's a good bunt. It's a bunt for a hit, but yet if he gets a sacrifice out of it, bonus. But you see that Joe West, the first base umpire, he did beat it out. Oh, another bang bang. Not sure about Justin Bour. That ball's coming from home plate area, and he stepped. Did it look like he was stepping toward first?
Don Mattingly's coming out. I think Mattingly is asking a couple things. Number one, was the runner inside the line and was there interference? That's why he's talking to the home plate umpire and not the first base umpire. And the answer was no.
You know, in bang bang plays, watch Justin Bour's step. Now tell me, his step is toward first base or toward second base. Had he stepped toward where Kohler was throwing from, I believe he would have had him.
That one is down the line. Stanton into the corner. Around third, Lowe will score. Hernandez to third. Stanton fishes it out. And the Phillies are set up second and third. And nobody out. And it's a one-run game now. Andres Blanco, who hurt the Marlins in Miami, takes a breaking ball and gets a double.
Yeah, first pitch curveball right there. Andres Blanco, nice hitter. Batting .310 coming into today's game, relieving Freddie Galvis right down the line. Good swing. That down and in area, always dangerous as a pitcher thrown to a left-handed batter. Keeps it fair. Stanton does a nice job getting that ball into the cutoff man.
Ryan Howard now. Fastball, Howard lashes it foul. In the first inning, Tom Kohler's defense bailed him out. Now he's trying to bail out his defense. The error by Bour. Hernandez getting a hit on the bunt. And Howard chases, and now you're certainly hunting for a strikeout. Phillies average-wise runs a lot of offensive categories near the basement in the National League, which adds to the intrigue with their record. Howard did not go after the curveball. It's 1-2.
Well, it's not hitting when they saw the runners in scoring position. Not good. It's really been about their pitching. 6th in the National League in ERA coming into today's game.
And the ability to win those close games. 1-2 to Howard. Got him with a breaking ball. Good sharp break. Kohler will spike that curveball. Dig that index fingernail into the ball.
Yeah, big pitch right here. This is a good curveball right here to a guy who has a high propensity of striking out. Good 12-6 and down in the zone. 1-2 count. That's where you want a curveball off speed. Make a hitter that will chase, swing at a ball that is out of the zone.
Now Franco, infield hit, and the Marlins are going to walk him and bring up Cameron Rupp. Somewhat of a gamble in that Kohler has walked 3. Franco had an infield hit his last time up, but a shot at a double play and an attempt to escape this inning with just the 1 run.
Well, even though Franco has not really gotten going, if you will, 242 coming into today's game, 7 home runs. He is the more feared hitter in this lineup as far as power. Cameron Rupp, I have to believe Don Mattingly and Juan Nieves like this matchup. There's a force at any base. I hear what you're saying, Rich. You do have Kohler, who's struggling a bit with his command. I think is fair enough.
Rupp struck out in the second, and it was his first career at bat against Kohler. Look at the ball strike ratio. That needs to be cleaned up, and we'll see if Kohler can do it with 1 out and Rupp at the plate. Infield back for 2. Breaking ball, bouncer into center field, and that's a hit. Hernandez scores, Blanco around third, and the Phillies take the lead. And Cameron Rupp makes the Marlins pay.
Well, he jumped on it right away. A big curveball, first pitch, staying on the baseball, CNI up the middle. You know, when you think of matchup and Tom Kohler, early in the count, I'm thinking ground ball. What is my ground ball pitch? Sinking fastball down and in, and a harder breaking ball away. That slider, Tommy Kohler will throw the curveball slider. The first pitch curveball is really just to get into the count. Not really a ground ball pitch.
That one's into center field. Late start at second, and Franco is held. Good play by Ozuna to get there. With that ball in the air, that froze Franco.
Yeah, a little liner right there. You see Franco freezing, but that ball is straight up the middle. Some effort there from Derek Dietrich. Watch here, Franco gets off, secondary stop, make sure it gets through his angle, thinking that it was closer to Dietrich. Safe play, the 1 out.
Bags loaded again, and it's Hellickson who put up a whale of a fight and drew a walk his first time up. Corners are in, middle infield at double play depth. And I'm not sure what Justin Bohr is thinking, because he was creeping in on the grass thinking bunt. Maybe the Marlins have this in an advanced scout report.
Yeah, safety squeeze. I think what Hellickson's shown, well, let's see, change his signs. He wants to see Juan Samuel, the third base coach, go through it again. You see, Joe Madden has done that over the years of his years of managing, a safety squeeze. Runner at third base, just making sure that the ball is down on the ground.
Well, the problem here for the Phils would be a force at home, because the bags are loaded. So whatever happens, the bunt has to be good. If it's not a good bunt, you can get a double play.
Yep. In a safety squeeze, all you're trying to do is keep it away from the pitcher. Because you still got a lot of movement from your first baseman, third baseman having to crash and do that little shovel pass to home.
Squares, takes a strike. And of course, through all of that, if you don't throw strikes, it doesn't matter. And you look at those pitches. Pitch number 2 should have been a strike. And Hellickson just taking a rip right now. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still 1 out. And a fastball finishes off Hellickson. So the 9th man to come to the plate is Peter Borges.
Yeah, just blew it by him once he got behind and then got back into the count. That was just, here it is, hit it.
Three runs have scored here in the bottom of the 3rd. Tom Kohler's longest inning. They'd like to end it here. Borges flips it foul. Off day for Miami tomorrow. Nationals on Friday night. Ball and a strike and 2 outs. Bag still loaded. Borges to left. Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. Phillies get 3, leave them loaded. 3-2 in Philly. Times in the bottom of the 3rd. Tom Kohler cooling off in the dugout. Told you the Nationals are coming to Marlins Park. Fireworks Friday, this Friday, 7:10 start. Celebrate the music and culture of Cuba on South Florida Ford Cuban Heritage Night. Of course, the new Budweiser burger and beer package is available for just $25. Fireworks spectacular after the game. Marlins.com for tickets. Giancarlo Stanton takes a fastball for a strike. Stanton struck out in the 1st, and the woes continue. He's 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts in this series. And Hellickson picking at the corner and at the bottom of the strike zone.
Well, that's a paint pellet right there from Jeremy Hellickson, just on the corner.
And that first call has set the at-bat to 0-2 now. And Stanton chases. Ball in the dirt. He really is searching.
Yeah, again, that changeup from Hellickson, just antsy, in between, seeing the ball, swinging. Often you hear hitters when they get in a bit of a funk, they're just going to allow it. See his frustration for sure. Let the ball travel. Let it travel. See the ball. It seems, you know, when you get a guy that's struggling and not getting hits and producing, you see him jump a little bit, wanting to get out there, pulling off. It's actually reverse. It's like a pitcher when you start overthrowing. And it's all emotion, right? I mean, you're amped. You know, a guy like Giancarlo going to hit it out of Yellowstone. You start getting a little more angry and tense, and just want to hit a 600-foot home run. Same thing with a pitcher. Guy, you know, he starts overthrowing. No, back off a little. Take a little off. Hit the glove. Throw it 92 at the glove, not 95 down the middle. Hitters, let the ball travel. See if you can hit 3 line drives to right field.
Here's Justin Bour. Oftentimes you'll see a right-handed hitter who's in a rut like this spend the entire batting practice just hitting balls to right field.
Right-handers.
Yes.
Yes.
And look, it's not like Stanton isn't working on this. He is one of the hardest workers around.
Totally.
So he has spent hours and hours trying to iron this out. Barry Bonds and Frank Menachino. We chatted briefly with Don Mattingly today about what he went through when he was the #1 bat in the Yankee lineup. And how, you know, and you mentioned it yesterday in one of the emails that we got. To look at Frankie. Bour, and the shift works again. And so Blanco is there. Hellickson sails through the 4th, and all of a sudden he has set down 8 in a row.
I've made my way over to section 138 because we have a huge Christian Yelich fan over here. This is Emily Alexander. She's also a very talented artist. Hold this up because you did this painting, correct?
Yes, I did. This is my final project for my junior year at Rowan University.
And Christian Yelich had the opportunity to sign this painting. You saw him before the start of the game. What was that interaction like?
Oh, that was awesome. He's my favorite player. I'm a diehard Phillies fan, but Christian Yelich is my favorite, so I was super excited to get to meet him. He's super nice, so just wanted to get it signed.
Why is Yelich your favorite, even though you're a Phillies fan?
I don't know. I just like him. I don't know. I just think he's cool, and I like the Marlins uniform, which doesn't really apply to him. But, you know, I don't know. I just think he's awesome. He's a really good player. He's a really good batting average. I'm, like, obsessed with baseball, so I pretty much follow everything. The amount of favorite baseball players I have is like insane. Everyone always teases me about it. But so I decided to do a painting for him for my class because I had to use a color palette of another artist, and orange is the color of the Marlins uniform. So that's why I did.
Yeah, let's hold this up. Let's let everyone see this because this is incredible. What did it mean to you to have Christian Yelich sign the painting that you did of him?
It was amazing. I even said to my mom yesterday, I was like, all I want in life is just to meet him, for him to sign it, because that's like my goal in life. I've painted other major leaguers and had like the pleasure of getting to know some of them, and some players actually own some of my stuff, so I want to keep this rolling, and I was thrilled to get to meet him. It was so exciting.
Well, that is very cool. If that's all you wanted Christian Yelich to sign the painting that you did of him.
Your job, but you know.
Well, you know what? Hey, I'll trade you. I'll watch the game, and you can take my microphone. And so Emily will be reporting for the rest of the game, guys.
All right, thank you, Jessica.
Wow, what a personality, huh?
She has more energy than you, and that's not easy.
She might have about 4 cups of coffee.
Cesar Hernandez is up, and Tom Kohler strikes him out.
Good slider right there from Tom Kohler after getting a line out. David Lowe.
To finish our discussion on Giancarlo Stanton and Don Mattingly, one of the things that was interesting, Mattingly said to us, Al, was that he went through spells like that as a hitter, but he wasn't a strikeout guy. It was just bad contact, and he knew when he was struggling, but others might not have known. Different with Stanton.
Different types of hitters, exactly. When Donnie was saying that, I was surprised when I said, well, what period of time was it too long for you where you started getting concerned? He said 3 or 4 games. He said, when I got up to about 16 at bats, that's when, you know, you start thinking, you know, what am I doing? Should I try this, try that, go in the cage, you know, tinker? Giancarlo's a different type of hitter. He's monster pop, home runs, drive the ball in, you know, RBIs, 100+ RBI type guy. Not going to hit 300+. Donnie was, I mean, what, batting title one year, 330-ish.
The other thing that was interesting, he says, that they're still learning. I mean, as a staff, this is the first time they've been around Stanton and seen him struggle like this. End of the bat, and Johnson to first. That's a nice inning by Kohler, his best inning of the ball game. A 1-2-3 fourth. It's 3-2 Phillies. And a Shane Victorino fan on a very pleasant afternoon in Philly. Geico presents this date in Marlins history. Boy, Louis has been part of our Geico moments. 10 stolen bases. Louis Castillo had 3. Cliff Floyd had 3. Preston Wilson had 2. And Mark Kotze had 2. Chris Johnson takes a fastball for a strike from Jeremy Hellickson. This ball game has reached the 5th. Johnson singled off the wall and left in the 2nd. And Hellickson misses in. Miami jumped on Hellickson for 2 in the 1st, but he has settled down. He's retired 8 straight.
You know, he's the type of pitcher that once he settles in, because he's a field pitcher, mostly with the changeup, as we just saw Chris Johnson swing through it. It's a good pitch. It's above average. And it looks hittable. You know, we're showing a couple of these that they look right down the middle. But again, the effectiveness of a guy who has a good changeup. And also, too, Rich, you don't often see right-handed pitchers throw right-handed batters changeups as often as Hellickson is doing to the Marlin hitters right now.
We've seen him double up on some right-handed hitters.
He just did 2 in a row there. Chris Johnson swung through the previous one, and then he fouled that one off. So now there's this whole, waiting, and it's a slow changeup, 82 to 80 miles an hour, offset the 90, 92 mile an hour fastball.
What's your preferred differential from fastball to changeup?
Ideally, if you could get 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour is really hard, and then I'd go to the speed differential. You see the 92. What's that? Almost 20 miles an hour. If my math is right. And that's why I like the slower breaking ball.
As opposed to the sharp slider?
Yeah, I like the sharp. I mean, I like sliders are great. But if you have guys, and we're seeing exceptional velocity pitchers now, and there's a ton of them, 95, 96, 95. But then the differential between that off-speed pitch being only 4 or 5 miles an hour, hitters don't really have to respect being way out in front. So they can kind of gauge that 4 or 5 miles an hour speed-wise. This is just out in front, can't stay back enough. How many times have we seen this so far in these 5 innings? So out in front, roll over to shortstop.
A lot lately, Real. Muto, Ozuna, and now Johnson and Rojas in the last 3 innings. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go. Here is Miguel Rojas. Tom Kohler due up next, and Rojas shoots one on a hop to Hernandez. And just like that, the run continues for Hellickson.
And there's a bit of a lull cadence to Jeremy Hellickson. Kind of lull you to sleep a little bit, right? You're in the batter's box, very smooth, slow, deliberate delivery, and then boom, 91. Looks much faster. They're talking on the bench here. Clearly, they're going inside and seeing their bats and what the pitch is. And okay, he's got a changeup. I've seen 3 or 4 last at bat. Stay back, go the other way, and then he'll just enough selectively buzz a 91 mile an hour fastball.
9 ground ball outs. And there's only 2 outs here in the 5th. So last night it was strikeouts. Marlins punched out 17 times, tying a club record for a 9-inning game. Vince Velasquez had 10 of those in 5 innings.
Well, we talked to Mattingly about that and saying, he saw good at bats. I mean, up to the 4th inning, Velasquez threw 92 pitches.
Kohler sends that one out into center, and it's run down by Borges. The run continues for Hellickson. He set down 12 straight. Greater coverage of baseball. Outliner, let's take a walk through the world of baseball. Noah Syndergaard outdueled Max Scherzer in the Nationals. Thor fans 10. He did not homer, although Curtis Granderson did on the first pitch of that bottom of the first inning in New York, and that set the scene. Brian Snitker takes over as the Braves interim manager. Jackie Bradley Jr. His hit streak now at 22 games. This is the story in Philly. It's 3-2. Phillies on top midway through. Fish Family, the exclusive loyalty program of Marlin fans. Go to marlins.com/fishfamily. And you'll find that the bonus code is Speedsters. Ryan Howard, Michael Franco, Cameron Rupp. For Tom Kohler, who really had to battle it innings 1 through 3. 4 walks, 1 intentional. Of course, the Phillies got their 3 runs in the 3rd. The door was open by a Justin Bour error. And the Phillies, 4 hits later, had 3 runs. Howard takes away. One of the last Phillies standing of the great run by the Phils. 5 consecutive division titles, 2 World Series appearances, the 2008 World Championship. In the cold and the wet, they took down the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, his contract is up this year. There's a club option for 17, and highly doubt that'll be picked up.
Fastball and a $10 million buyout, though, for that club option. So you can either pay him $25 million to play or $10 million not to play.
Ryan Howard, 36 years old. He's got a MVP on his mantle, 2006. 3-time All-Star. He's had a good career of late. Remember that Achilles tear that he had in the playoff game to end the game?
Yeah,
right?
to end the game.
And,
the division series against the Cardinals, I believe.
Since really you go back, Rich, it's 2011 was really his last dominant year.
Out to short, that's Rojas. And an out here in the 5th. Carlos Ruiz is the other Philly still standing from the, I guess if you want to say golden age of Phillies baseball, that was,
I mean, what was
quite
it?
the run.
How many years in a row they won the division or were postseason?
5 years in a row.
5 years in a row
for the division, and so they're in the postseason for those 5 years. The 2 World Series were 08 and 09, losing to the Yankees in the 2009 World Series.
Beat the Rays in 08. It's been a heck of a run. It's a different story now. It's a rebuild mode. Andy McPhail's come in to steer the ship going in that direction. After the many years of Pat Gillick. Ruben Amaro, who's now the first base coach of the Red Sox. How about that? Going from GM to first base coach. You don't see that often.
Matt Klentak, the vice president and general manager. Rojas throws off the arm and gets Franco. And so 2 outs here in the 5th. All-Star Saturday, this Saturday. Can you spot Outlighter in this promo? It's Kevin Brown bobblehead night. First 5,000 fans get a Kevin Brown All-Star bobblehead courtesy of. There he is. There's Al. Oh, you were cool then too. You had the glasses up on your cap.
Never cool.
Just in case the sun got in your eyes on the bench. What was that for?
The dugout.
Huh?
I don't know. I can't.
Here's Cameron Rupp.
What can I do?
Well, that was
support any of those.
We talked about it last night. That was a year after your no-hitter, the first no-hitter in Miami history. Kevin Brown, then A.J. Burnett, and then Anibal Sanchez, and then Henderson Alvarez. Cameron Rupp had a big hit in the third. The Marlins walked Franco intentionally to load the bases with one out, hoping for a double play or possibly an easier out with Rupp, who shot one into center field and drove in 2 runs and turned a 2-1 game into a 3-2 game. Kohler's been able to dial it in after that inning. But he misses away, and Rupp has walked.
Yeah, the 2-out walk. You know, you feel, as you just said, Rich, what since the 1 inning of the long inning, the 3rd inning. Quick inning in the 4th. You get 2 quick outs, 2 ground outs to short.
Tyler Goodell now. Goodell, big breaking ball for a strike. He's 2 for 2, singled in the 2nd and in the 3rd.
He's looked good during this series. The Rule 5 draft, right, from Tampa Bay.
He's a guy that you want to see at the end of the year and see how he's playing. The out at 2nd, and Kohler gets through the 5th. On to the 6th, a 1-run game in Philly. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by Checkers, fast foodies know the deal, and by your South Florida BMW centers. Some disturbing inflated figures. Even the fanatic seems out of sorts. Much better in mid-May in 60-degree temps to be in those costumes instead of August, when it's a lot hotter here in Philly. The line by Jeremy Hellickson. He's at 75 pitches into the 6th, and the 3rd time through for the Fish. Derek Dietrich, JT Realmuto, and Christian Yelich. Hellickson has been picking at the bottom of the strike zone with that 90-91 mile-an-hour fastball. Dietrich has walked and flied out. Up the middle, softly hit, and that's going to be a base hit. And Miami has their leadoff man aboard. One thing about Hellickson coming in that was worth noting then and now: home runs. We told you he'd given up 9 homers, but what happens when he gives up those homers, Al, is the difference. He's a guy that when he gives up homers, things get sideways in a hurry.
Yeah, of his starts, well, of his starts that he didn't give up home runs, his ERA was 0. Now, I get it. Home runs is just not a, it's crooked and makes your ERA look ugly. But in his other outings, the other 5 outings, ERA 8+.
That's pretty dramatic. I mean, guys give up home runs and win games. Dietrich with a dive back.
Well, also, too, I know that it's early in the year, but, here in Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park, one of the worst places, in my opinion, as a pitcher to pitch in the summertime when it gets hot. I know humidity, most places the balls fly, but this is one of the harder places to pitch when it gets hot. So if he's given up, there's 4 other National League pitchers giving up more than the 9 home runs at Hellickson. It's going to get worse here as the summer goes.
See, they should have hired you to narrate Weather Day today. That's a foul ball. They have a ton of kids here at the ballpark, and the Channel 10 weather team was here, and I forget the guy's name, Hurricane Bob or something, and he was lecturing the kids and saying how it's much easier to homer in Miami than it is in Philly because it's the temperature. And you wanted to go down and say, hey, Hurricane Bob, this is a small ballpark. Have you been to Miami's ballpark yet? Oh, I'm sorry. It was Hurricane Glenn.
Yeah, distance.
On the ground, out there, and another double play. And the right-handed bats have been feeding that left side of the infield all day.
Yeah, just a little jam shot from Real Muto. I'll tell you what, Hellickson has frustrated these Marlin hitters this afternoon. Andres Blanco getting a nice charity hop, easy 6-4-3 double play.
11 outs on the ground, and that includes the 2 double plays. Here's Yelich now, RBI double. Yelich now with 13 doubles, 3 in this 3-game series, and a triple. There is the artist formerly known as Emily, who painted the Yelich painting. It looks like a Yelich signature on her cap as well. Both Miami runs in the first. Yelich cracks a liner into right. And so he's got 2 hits. And that gives Stanton an at bat here against Hellickson, who has.
Straight away, they talk about Christian Yelich, a fastball that was inside. You see straight second base, straight on shortstop. Not sure where Yelich will hit it. Just over the outstretched glove of Cesar Hernandez. Good hitter.
Stanton has been frustrated today against Hellickson. Yelich certainly has the speed to steal a bag. He's swiped 3 this year. Both strikeouts swinging. Stanton chased a off-speed pitch in the dirt his last time up. And a fastball in starts the at-bat.
And that's the show fastball. He's teasing these Marlin hitters with that pitch there. Make Giancarlo think he wants to come in hard, and it's been all soft, either down the zone or away.
We saw Stanton after the at-bat. I don't want to say destroy his bat, but certainly do major damage to his bat in the dugout.
Yeah, frustration for sure mounting. He's getting ticked off.
speaks for itself. Not quite Paul O'Neill-like, but close. There's a fastball on the outside part. A pitch that you pointed out last night he had trouble reaching.
There's two-seam fastball down in the zone. He was going body line twice, and then he went away. This pitch, it's a two-seam sinking fastball, clearly a ball. That's where you know he's out of sorts. Know the strike zone, know your area, especially in a hitter's count. 2-1, 2-0, 3-1 counts. Keyhole, find your spot.
In the dirt, Yelich thought about it. Nice job by Rupp. And so the count goes to 3-2. It's a 4 for 39 with 18 strikeouts right now.
Well, the first two at bats, Hellickson struck him out on changeups in the dirt that he swung over. He has not seen a changeup yet in this at bat.
And again, Hellickson goes over there, even though Stanton is struggling mightily and has struck out twice. It looks like Hellickson would rather take a shot at Yelich than the 3-2 to Stanton. He got him again. Off speed. The changeup at 83. 3 strikeouts for Stanton. Hellickson and the Phillies still up a run. Down in Philly, brought to you by La Lechonera. Three-two ball game. Tom Kohler gave up the 3 runs in the 3rd. He's been very good since, and he enters the 6th. Pitch a Penny presents Emmanuel Burris for your consideration. So Jeremy Hellickson has reached the end of the road. As Burris hits for him, Peter Borges and David Lowe. That Philly bullpen, David Hernandez first up, was terrific last night. Kohler bounces one. Last night the Marlins saw 4 relievers. Actually 5 relievers, starting with Araujo, Bailey, Hernandez, Neris, And then Gomez into right and a base hit by Emmanuel Burris. Leadoff man is aboard. Al, tonight on an all-new Ultimate Fighter, a shocking development could derail everything. It's all tonight, 10 Eastern and Pacific, only on FS1.
Team Rich
versus Team Al.
Claudia. Neither one of those. I don't want to mess with them.
Here's Peter Borges. All right, Burris at first has some speed. Borges, good jump. He's got great speed. Johnson has to hurry, does, and makes a really nice play. It goes a sacrifice bunt.
Well done by Chris Johnson, coming in all in one full swoop. Peter Borges has got some wheels, good speed. Watch this, all in one take here. He knows the speed of Peter Borges. Pick the ball up, make sure you get a good grip and a good quick snap throw from down under. Nice job. Well executed bunt by Peter Borges. Good play by Chris Johnson.
Top of the order now, David Lowe, and then Cesar Hernandez, and if anybody reaches, Andres Blanco. Dietrich gets the out. Hellickson, or excuse me, Burris moves up to third. That's one thing, and Pete Buchanan, the locals will tell you he's much more of a small ball, put the game in motion than Ryan Sandberg, who he took over for in the middle of last year, or even Charlie Manuel, but obviously different teams.
Yes.
Charlie had some mashers, certainly, and some speed.
Well, you said it, different teams. I mean, you look at the Philly lineup and you're getting your power out of Maikel Franco. And you still have to assume Ryan Howard can give you some kind of power. They don't have that lineup. Their best player, Odubel Herrera, who's not in there today, is not a home run guy. So, you know, you create the offense of the players that are on the field and what they can give you.
Look, this is the script that the Phillies have followed, right? I mean, you scratch out some runs. Marlins made an error that opened the gates. The Phillies took advantage of that. Phillies haven't hit the ball out of the ballpark. They got solid starting pitching. 6 innings, 2 runs from Hellickson. Now the bullpen's going to take over. And to top it all off, it's a 1-run game. And they're 14-3 in 1-run games. Busted bat. And Bohr able to get it and get to the bag. Nice pitch by Tom Kohler. Kohler, 6 innings through. It's a 1-run game. Phillies up Wednesday afternoon. Ashburn Alley is busy here in Philly. Rich Waltz, Al Leiter, Jessica Blaylock. A break in the weather on weather day. Lots of kids here from around Philly. Lots of energy in the ballpark. As early as 10 in the morning when the kids arrived. And they've seen the Phillies do what the Phillies have been doing for the first month and a half of this season. Pitch well, scratch out some runs, and now in a tight ball game, they'll turn it over to the bullpen. David Hernandez, the 30-year-old, who was pitched in this role with success for a while, though he had injury issues. Came back to the big leagues with Arizona last year. Marcell Ozuna, Justin Bour, and then Chris Johnson. Hernandez is out front 0-2. Marlins saw him for a couple of outs last night and an inning on Monday.
Well, part of that bullpen, you mentioned it, Rich, about the one-run wins that the Phillies have had. David Hernandez a part of it. 19 in the third innings, 29 strikeouts. Hector Neris, we saw him last night, struck out the side in his one inning, as well as David Hernandez last night.
You see the strikeouts. Hernandez gets Ozuna to open up the 7th. Toyota gives you the inside look. Best win percentage since the 9th of April. And the Phillies at 23-13. Remember the Phillies coming out of the gate kind of stumbled. They started the season 0-4, did the Phillies, and everybody thought, well, that's what they're supposed to be. Ford takes fastball up, then things turned around, and they find themselves 6 over here. And with a win, they've got a shot at waking up in first place in a first place tie. If the Phillies win this ball game and the Mets beat the Nationals tonight, the Mets and the Phillies would share first place in the morning. Bour got tied up on a fastball. Howard looking into the sun, and Hernandez has got 2 quick outs. Standings in the East, and remember the Nationals and the Mets play tonight. That's a Bartolo Colon Gio Gonzalez matchup tonight in New York.
Yeah, bunched up, isn't it? Minus the Atlanta Braves, who serious rebuild.
Chris Johnson. In the hole, it's short. Blanco sets and throws him out. That was quick. 8 pitches for David Hernandez. 7th inning stretch in Philly. 3-2, Phil's on top, bottom 7. Miami on the board first in this one. Christian Yelich with an RBI double, a play at the plate. Derek Dietrich slides in safely. And with 2 outs and 2 strikes, Marcelo Zuna doubles down the left field line. But the Phillies rush right in for 3 runs in the 3rd. An error by Justin Bour opened the door. Andres Blanco an RBI double, and Cameron Rupp, after an intentional walk with 1 out, bangs a single to center to drive home 2. And that's how you get 3-2 Phils. Bottom 7. Tom Kohler back out there for Miami.
Well, what a nice job that Tom Kohler's done after settling in after that, what could have been a real knockout inning. I know the 3 runs were scored after the Marlins had scored 2 in the 1st, but here he is in the 7th. Well, I said that scouting report, Rich, a bulldog. And, you know, look, every pitcher would love to go out and throw shutouts, but you have a clunker of an inning like that, and then to settle down. And that's exactly what Tom Kohler's done. Here again, 7th inning, his pitch count, Don Mattingly, you know, needing another inning. His go-to guys have been overworked, and this is what Kohler brings.
Just the Burris pinch hit, that's it. As far as the Phils go since the 3-run 3rd. So he's hit 104 pitches. Don Mattingly is hopeful he can get through this inning. Keep the bullpen from having to come in. Bour steps on the bag. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Well, guys, you can't come to Philly without having a cheesesteak, and players think so, too. The clubhouses here at Citizens Bank Park actually make cheesesteaks, and they keep a record of who eats the most. How about this? The current record belongs to Brewers bullpen catcher Mark Hanel. He ate 23 Philly cheesesteaks over the course of a 4-game series. He broke the record, which was previously held by former Marlins pitcher Matt Latos, who ate 18 Philly cheesesteaks over the course of a 4-game series.
Wow. And Jessica, how many have you eaten over the course of a 3-game series?
You know what? Unfortunately, I have not had a single one while we have been here. I am ashamed of that. I am ashamed of that.
No, that's all right.
You can't go to Philly without not eating a cheesesteak.
I did just say that, didn't I?
The Fanatic has eaten your portion. I mean, just look at it.
Yeah, just blame it on the Fanatic.
They actually were serving cheesesteaks in the press dining room before the ball game. Howard swings and misses.
You said 18 Matt Latos in 4 days?
Well, the other guy ate what, 23?
Or
23 is the record. And those aren't, I mean, these are not small little, you know, finger sandwich type things.
Right.
Or sliders, you know. There's no such thing
it's
as
not an appetizer.
No such thing as a cheesecake slide or a cheesesteak slider.
No.
Say that fast. They're big. I mean, that's, I don't know whether to be impressed. Dietrich. Tom Kohler with 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Impressed or alarmed? You're not sure which to get there. With 23 cheesesteaks. Now, you haven't had the Chicky and Pete's fries.
No.
They are they're hot. So
like spicy.
Yes, just a warning to you. There's Franco. Miguel Franco, infield hit. He was the hitter that the Marlins chose to intentionally walk to get to Cameron Rupp. And right now, that at bat by Rupp is the difference in this ball game. It was 2-1 Miami at the time with 1 out. The intentional walk, low to the bases. It set up a double play, and Kohler hunting for a ground ball. Got the ground ball, but it was up the middle and into center, and it drove in 2. Three 3-0. This is the only National League game this afternoon. 2 American League games. And one foul back. Tigers.
Thank you.
A 5-0 lead over Minnesota. That's in the top of the 7th. The Royals lead Boston 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th in Kansas City.
Another ball.
Yeah, he's swung himself.
Trying to get through this here.
He has swung Kohler back into the at bat. It's 3-2 now.
Yeah, Don Mattingly and the Marlins don't have anybody warming up. You got Kohler up in the 114 pitch count, trying to get through this inning.
See both of those pitches well out of the strike zone. 3-2.
Well done.
Stanton in right now coming in. Sun in his glasses makes the catch. Very nice by Tom Kohler, bouncing back after the 3rd and giving up just the 3.
He did 5 hits.
Tom Kohler right now in discussion with Juan Nieves. Kohler, as we noted, gave up those 3 runs in the 3rd, but after that really kept the lid on. Freddie Galvis comes in and he's at short for the Phillies, and that's going to push Blanco to first, and the Marlins are going to trot out a couple of pinch hitting options against Hector Neris, Ichiro, with Martin Prado on deck, and then you've got Derek Dietrich. This is the 8-9-1 spots in Miami's order. Ichiro got a hit flipping a ball into left field in last night's ball game. And you see the year he's having. Very nice average. Marlins have used him precisely as a pinch hitter in spots like this, a spot start here or there. To 2,949 hits. Obviously at 51 from 3,000. And he's 6 behind Wee Willie Keeler for 32nd on the all-time list. Neris, who is part of the Phillies bullpen that has been very good this year. He's trying to elevate fastballs against Ichiro.
Well, the Marlins saw Neris last night. Proceeded to strike out the side. Yelich, Stanton, and Bohr. A very good split finger from Neris.
Ichiro up the middle. And that's going to be a base hit. And so the Marlins have some life here in the 8th. The pinch hit by Ichiro. 50 away from 3,000. And I'll tell you, the way the Marlins have used him, he seems fresh. Ball's jumping off his bat, much more so than the second half of last year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the way he's getting his at-bats, I think he's got a very good shot at the 3,000 hits. The 15th hit on the season. Not easy to do. A veteran guy, an older guy, sit the bench, you know, come in that role and still can hit a line drive.
Yeah, he's embraced that role. He's not fought it, not been an issue at all. Now you got a guy with speed certainly at first. And here's Prado now. Martin Prado, one of the hotter hitters in the major leagues. Second behind Daniel Murphy with that 374 average. And really good on the road. Almost 450 on the road. That's best in the major leagues, and he fouls it back. And Prado hits for Kohler. A 115 pitch effort from Kohler. Ichiro hit 500 as far as stolen bases earlier this year. Neris looking for a punch out or a ground ball.
Such a professional hitter. I know we say that, but Martin Prado, when healthy and right, you know, you talk about a guy that can put the ball in play. You talk about like using the bat as like a baton. What did we say last night before he struck out? He's 58 at bats in a row.
Yeah, he'd gone 58 going into last night, doubled his first at bat.
That's right.
And then 59 without striking out. That was the longest streak.
You know, and in this day and age where most guys will tell you they don't care if they strike out, you see guys repeatedly up around 200 strikeouts.
Well, Prado's always been one of those guys, tough to strike out, tough to walk, but he really changed his approach last year in August. The guy that would hit home runs felt he was trying to do that too much. And especially at Marlins Park, how big it was in center field. He said it felt like he said there was a defender everywhere he hit the ball. And so he went back to that simple short stroke up the middle, and that really turned it for him. Prado down the right field line, and it's foul.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Rich, because, you know, there's certain guys in the lineup that just know the type of hitter you are, and I would much rather have a 374 hitter that's not worried about hitting home runs. Of his 52 hits, Prado, he's got 8 doubles and 1 triple. His extra base hits is going to come. I'll take a guy to put the ball in play, hit a line drive somewhere.
There's a bouncer to short. Hernandez's turn is in time. And that's the danger. Third double play that the Marlins have hit into in this ballgame.
Yeah, a little bore and sinker in out of the hands. Freddie Galvis at short now. Quick transfer, strong throw from Cesar Hernandez over to Andres Blanco, who's moved to first.
And so just like that, here's Dietrich with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, the double play has spoiled any kind of momentum at all. The third one of the day.
Into the bat and towards the line. Goodell is there, and he makes the catch. Well, Hector Neris with some help from his defense works a rather clean 8. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Sunny in Philadelphia. Always sunny in Philadelphia. Marlins Live on Friday opens up that 3-gamer in Miami against the Washington Nationals. Always visit with Don Mattingly on Friday. Dustin Nicolino, Tanner Roark start the series. Craig Minervini joined by Jeff Conine. Danny Echeverria is at shortstop. Jose Urena is on the mound, and his job is to deliver this game to the top of the 9th and keep it at a 1-run game. The Phillies up 3-2.
With Realmuto, Yelich, and Stanton next inning.
Cameron Rupp, Tyler Goodell, and then Freddie Galvis. And Urena gets out in front 0-1. If you're just joining us, this was a Tom Kohler start. And Kohler wobbled in the first. He walked a couple, got help from his defense, left the bags loaded in the second. Was not helped by his defense in the third. A Justin Bour error started the inning. And the Phillies cobbled together 4 hits with an intentional walk in the middle, and you thought, well, this was going to be a short day for Kohler, but not so. Tom put it in gear in the 4th and got all the way through the 7th.
That's a battle game. As you described it, Rich, that 3rd inning could have been a disaster or more runs. Was able to get out of it, and then to proceed to throw up 4 goose eggs.
Urena's been a versatile arm. He can throw long. Was starting down in New Orleans. He's been effective at times in short relief. His shining moment probably at Dodger Stadium. And looked like a changeup at 91. A power change. Out number 1. MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Here is Goodell.
Well, just looking at Urena, you talk about plus stuff. And that fastball touches 98. Good changeup slider. But it still comes at command. It's awesome to possess that kind of velocity because you get away with mistakes, pitches that are down the middle. But ideally, hone your delivery to be able to locate a little better. Oh, this kid gets, if he figures out to be able to get his delivery and mindset and be able to make repeated quality pitches, boy, the ceiling is huge for this guy.
Genmar Gomez, who has taken the job of closer and really run with it here in Philly, is getting ready. He finished last night. Marlins did get a run last night in that 9th inning, but lost the ball game 3-1.
Made it interesting, right? Big walk at Chris Johnson after Realmuto's double, and
it's Realmuto who leads off in the 9th, as Al pointed out, with Yelich, Stanton. If anybody reaches, Ozuna, then Bour. That ball's hit well. Left center field and deep and gone. I'll tell you what, Tyler Goodell, a Rule 5 draft pick, looked overmatched the first month of the season, but May has been a different story. And he blasts one into the seats. That's his 3rd hit of the day, his 6th hit of the series.
He got a fastball down the middle. Tyler Goodell, you said Rule 5, the Phillies picked him up. They liked his versatility. A former #1 draft pick. Really didn't do much at Tampa Bay, and here he is. Home run is... Is that his, I know it's his first home run of the year. Is that his first home run of his career?
I believe so.
It's got to be right. He's Rule 5.
That is his first home run. This obviously his first major league year. So home run #1. Big moment. Dietrich shows the ball to Joe West. And he makes the catch. There's 2 down. First career homer by Tyler Goodell. His brother, Eric, a major league pitcher. You know, sometimes you dive into a bio looking for what you think will be a baseball note. And I found it with Eric. His father, Goodell's father, a biotech industry pioneer who developed synthesized insulin. How's that?
Wow. Smart.
And with 2 major league sons. So Urania gives up a run. Phillies and Genmar Gomez cushion is now 2. And Peter Borges with a 2-2 count. Two balls, 2 strikes in Philly. Miami winners on Monday. Phillies last night. 2-run win last night for the Phils and a 2-run lead today. Chance to win the series. And a good running fastball for Urania, but a home run. Tyler Goodell's first big league homer makes it 4-2 in the 9th. Baseball, Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. And by your South Florida Honda dealer. Clouds have lifted from around Philadelphia on a sunny day. 2-run lead by the Phillies in the 9th. Nationals at Marlins Park on Friday. It's a 3-game set, and on Sunday, a Sunday fun day, you pick up the Pepsi 4 for $74 and celebrate Japanese Heritage Day at Marlins Park. First 12,000 fans get an Ichiro hit counter bobblehead, courtesy of Tire Kingdom. Diamond Dash after the game, Marlins.com for tickets. This would be Genmar Gomez, the closer of the Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightin' Phils. He is 15 of 16 in save opportunities, and he fires in a strike to JT Realmuto to start the ninth. Realmuto doubled off of Gomez last night, and he hits a bouncer to short. There's been a lot of those in this ball game. Out by a step, one out in the ninth.
About 8, with 3 of them being double plays. Over to the shortstop, Freddie Galvis over the top. A bang bang play at first base. Realmuto, catcher, can run.
For those teams that feel they have to sign a closer as a high-priced free agent or trade for a big-name closer,
look out on the mound right now.
May I present Genmar Gomez for your review or your consideration? Here is Yelich. He had saved a total of 1 game. 1 game in the major leagues. Oh, I'm sorry, and 1 in the minor leagues. How about that?
Well, he was a starter mostly, right? Up until the last couple years. What was his first year? Pittsburgh relieving?
Yeah, 2013.
Well, Pete Buchanan said in spring training when they traded Ken Giles, they had basically a tryout of guys like Genmar and David Hernandez to figure out who would be the closer, and he won.
Yelich a bouncer to second. And Gomez has got 2 more ground ball outs. Yesterday it was the strikeout that the Phillies used to slow down the Marlins offensively. 17 strikeouts. Ground ball outs have been in vogue in this one. I have 16 outs on the ground if you include the 3 double plays. Stanton now. Giancarlo Stanton at the plate with 2 outs and Miami down a couple, and it has been a long series for Stanton. 0 for 9 with 8 strikeouts, and that pitch split the plate. Gomez nibbles, and it's a ball and a strike. One and 2.
Their curveball or slider took something off. You see Stanton, big cut, pulling off a little bit.
1-2 coming. And he got him. Stanton felt he tipped it. Home plate umpire Mark Rippinger does not agree. And the Phillies take the series. And Giancarlo Stanton strikes out for the 4th time in the ball game and the 9th time in the series. A look.
Nah, that ball just hit in the dirt. Might have hit on the plate.
Frustrating way to end this series and to end this road trip. Marlins got a split in D.C., but dropped 2 of 3 here in Philly. Cameron Rupp. 2-run single, the difference in this one. Marlins Live is coming up